Before the arenas, before the awards.
This is b4Nashville Live. Have a question for our guest? Send it to us.
Here we introduce the country stars. Got a young lady we're going to be bringing on with us tonight. She's originally from Ohio, and she is now in Nashville. We're going to talk to her coming up in just 30 seconds, so stick around.
Before Nashville is proudly sponsored by Go-Go Tuners, the go-to tuner for professional and amateur musicians. Get your Go-Go Tuner at gogotuners.com. By Heart to Heart Coffee, the coffee that gives back. Find out more at heart2heartcoffee.com. By Sibby's Apparel, worn by heroes, made with respect. Order yours at sibby'sapparel.com. And by Three Rangers Whiskey, not for the weak or faint-hearted. ThreeRangers.com.
All right, so tonight joining me, I've got a young lady that I have talked to on the phone, and we had such an awesome conversation. I don't know if we can match that tonight, but we're going to give it a try. This is Jess Kellie Adams. Jess, welcome to the show. Can you hear me all right? I think something happened there. I'm not sure what's going on. Let's see here. Hang on a second. Let me double check here. Make sure everything's working right. All right. All right, Jess, can you hear me? She could hear me fine a while ago. I don't know what's happened here. Let me see. See if her mic's not. Is your mic muted on your end or what? Let's see here. Yeah, Jess, I think you're muted. Oh, how can I tell her this? Hang on. I'll do it this way. We'll go this route. Hang on just a second. It's showing up that she's muted. So we'll let's see. We'll try that and see if she gets that and see if she comes back on and we get everything right here. We'll get her on. Everybody just bear with us. I know everything's working okay because we were just talking before the show. How's that? Can you hear me? Oh, let's see here. Let me try. No, everything's fine there. I'm checking a couple other spots and see what's going on. You mute her and bring her back on. Whoops. I think I just muted her. Are you there? Well, let me check my mic. No, my mic's working fine. Hang on a second. Let's see. She's back to being muted again. Well, what in the world is wrong with my camera? Okay, there I am. We're going to get this figured out, folks. Bear with us. Sometimes I don't know why that's happened. It hasn't happened in a long time. We've had everything done just right. So, let's see here. Looks like that's all right. Yeah. Let's see. Still not working. Why is it not working? Okay, I'm having to communicate via text with her, so we'll get um see if that works. We're gonna get it on. Just hang on with us, folks. We'll get it going here in a second. I've had several issues with this before, but it's been forever since this has happened. Oh, hang on.
Oh,
There we are.
oh, good. Oh my God.
Ah,
Technology. I'm not a fan of it.
I'm not either, but it's like it's one of those. Oh, it's almost like an evil we have to deal with, no matter what.
I know, but it is good. Like, this is amazing. What a cool app or program that you're using here.
I love this app. It's really good. It's called StreamYard. So any aspiring podcasters out there, if you want to use it, it's a great app. It really is. If you're doing video podcast, and it's kind of like Zoom with some bells and whistles that Zoom doesn't have. So
Very cool.
that
And
makes
it's good
it
to
kind
put
of
a face to a name.
yeah. See everything. So everybody knows where you're at and who you are. And, if we want to go a step further, I can really freak them out, because if they want to find you, then we can always do that.
Yeah. Technology. I'm a fan now. It's working. We got cool
Yeah.
tools.
So we got everything under control. We'll take the website off. We'll leave that for just a minute. Jess and I had a great conversation here a few weeks ago, and it was just amazing. She's such a wonderful young lady to talk to, and I just love it. And
Aw.
so we want to find out some about her tonight. She's your. Tell me first. Let's get into getting into music, because
Yeah.
you've got a great musical story. So let's get into that. Where did it all start?
Yeah, well, I think it all pretty much started before I was born, really. My grandpa, he grew up in the Appalachian Mountains, the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. And the only source of entertainment they had was listening to the Grand Ole Opry. So ever
Mhm.
since I was a little girl, grandpa has instilled country music as the only genre out there.
Well, good for Grandpa.
And he wouldn't let me take control of the radio until he knew that I knew what good music was. So just knowing how much he loved country music, that's what got me into singing and learning guitar, because it made him proud of me. And then it was a way for us to connect. And then I just really loved pursuing it as a career. And so I've been doing that now for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Wow. You've been hitting the 10-year town pretty hard. I mean, you haven't been in Nashville for 10 years yet, correct?
Almost. We're at 9 years. It'll be 10 years in August.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That seems unbelievable.
Right?
Um,
Time flies.
yeah. And when you were hanging out with Grandpa and y'all are listening to music, I mean, you always wind up with certain artists that you just love. Those are kind of your go-tos and stuff. So who was the first artist that you ever considered an influence?
So any of the country artists from Appalachia. So that would be Keith Whitley, the Judds, Dwight Yoakam, Loretta Lynn, especially. I love Loretta. And then we also listen to a lot of Dolly as well.
Hmm.
Conway Twitty, all his favorites from, back in his day. And then I started loving Miranda Lambert and Garth Brooks, Leanne Womack.
Wow. Such a
Yeah.
great, such a great I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Such a great roster of great artists to love. I mean, you don't hear many people say Conway Twitty nowadays. A lot of, a lot of Loretta Lynn. I hear a lot of Miranda. I hear a lot of the Judds and even some that I'm not very
Reba.
fond of.
Yeah.
What and that one I'm not going to say who that is, but there's a couple of them there that I'm not super fond of. But when you were growing up, did you ever think at that time when you're sitting there with grandpa listening to the music that hey, this is something I might want to get into?
So, I want to say yeah, because he would be sitting in his lazy boy chair and he'd say, Jess, just lay down on the couch, close your eyes, and let the music take over your imagination. And I'm sure he was thinking of how he related to the song. He always said he lived every country song there is. But for me, I would dream of myself on a stage singing these songs. But I guess I never really knew that I wanted to be a singer per se. I tried musicals, I tried acting, I tried painting and drawing. I knew I was an artist of some sort. But nothing really made me feel like I was living my purpose more than being on stage.
Okay. So when was the first time you ever hit the stage?
I think I got my first band when I was 13 years old. They were a
Wow.
jazz band playing country music. That was interesting, George.
Ah, why are you doing the syncopation there on that? Stop it already.
Or why are people soloing right now?
Right. I don't need the saxophone. Cut it out. Uh, wow. So, how did that? I mean, how did that work out for you with having a jazz band? Is that? I mean, were they still pretty good at country, or did you feel like it was kind of a duck out of water type of thing?
I'm sure it's been so long I don't remember. All I know is I have learned a lot. I feel like with everything I do, I've really had to learn the hard way, and I'm sure it was more a duck out of water experience.
Mhm.
But I think I've always just been in it to learn and to just to be on that stage. I don't know if I really ever paid attention too much about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you're growing up, when did you start getting into writing songs? Because that's something you do. You're a singer and a songwriter.
Yeah. My first song I wrote was in second grade. I wouldn't say a bad student, but I definitely wasn't the student most teachers like to have. I had a timeout teacher, and during like parent teacher conference, I introduced my mom to my timeout teacher because I spent more time in her classroom than in my own teacher's classroom.
Oh my goodness.
So I wrote a song and it was called Detention. And it was very angsty. It was detention, detention rocks. It's not my fault that my teacher. And then, yeah.
Oh, that is too funny.
My mom's like, yeah, that's my child.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
She raised all by herself and I was a handful. I don't know how she did it, how she had a full-time job while also making sure that I stayed out of trouble and I was doing my homework and stuff. And so she's amazing.
Wow.
I made it tough.
I'm sure that song didn't get played in any assemblies or anything in school, right?
What are you talking about? I'm still playing it today in all my shows. This is
It's
the
like
best
your
song
number
I've
one.
ever.
It's your most requested song. That's great. Oh my gosh.
I do have a song called Stupid out on Spotify and Apple and stuff, and that is my most requested song. So you haven't
Wow.
gotta check it out.
Wow, that's crazy. So, has there ever been a song that you've heard that you go, "Man, why did I not write that song?"
Oh yeah. Let me think. Oh, what is that song? I'd sure hate to break down here, Julie Roberts.
Hmm.
Independence Day, Martina McBride.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up by Garth Brooks. Uh,
Hmm.
there are so many. It's funny because my show, I don't have many power ballads in my show, but in the car going somewhere, that's what I listen to are power ballads. I love them.
Got your power ballad playlist going there, right?
Yeah. 9 to 5, that's another one. But anything Dolly writes, I'm like, how in the world? Coat of Many Colors? What? How did you? How? You're brilliant.
Right. Right. And then when she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, she wrote a song
Yeah,
about being rock and roll.
and it was good. It was really good.
Yes.
Like, what can't she do?
I know. And she's making a rock album. I can't wait to hear that one.
I can't either. She is amazing.
Oh, Dolly is something else.
Oh yeah.
So as you're getting older and stuff, the family have a lot of encouraging words for you as you got into music and decided. I mean, what age were you when you first said, "Yeah, this is it. This is absolutely what I'm going to do"?
I would say 13 when I got my first band. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And I don't know if I would have survived without my family. They are my
Mhm.
rock. And in my show, something I always bring up because I never know who I'm gonna reach in the crowd, is my anxiety. I've always had anxiety of the enemy telling me that I'm not good enough or I'm unlovable and I have no reason to be on this stage. But my family, though, they helped me keep my head up and they worked hard with me to find my worth and help me see it and stuff. So, yeah, they're everything to me. And when we lost
Mhm.
grandpa, that was tough, but I know though, he's up in heaven working with Jesus now. So I have a guardian angel looking after me.
Still, still telling you, close your eyes and dream.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Ah, there you go. And that's a song title. Close your eyes and dream.
That is really beautiful. I love that.
That's your first power ballad, your first big hit power ballad right there.
You know, I might just have to give you writer's credit on that one. I'm gonna stab at that. That's I am not kidding. That's great.
That's that, you talked about the Judds. That could be your grandpa. Tell me about the good old days. That right there.
Yeah, that song that was the last song we danced to.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh my goodness.
It's a beautiful memory.
That's awesome though. It's great that you had that memory.
You're a
Uh,
grandpa, right?
I am. I'm a young grandpa. I'm really not. But yeah, we have 5 grandkids.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, we were just out visiting with 2 of them this past weekend, as a matter of fact. So
Oh, that's so fun.
yeah, we've got 4 boys and a girl, and the 2 oldest boys. We went out and stayed with my daughter and the boys, and we had Christmas early because they're not going to get to come in, and so they live, like I said, near Springfield, Missouri, which is about a 5-hour drive. So we got up early Saturday morning, drove out, and then drove back on Sunday.
That's awesome. I'm so happy you were able to spend that time with them.
Yeah, we had a blast. It's always cool. I mean, I'll talk about being a grandpa for a second. It's always cool whenever you see their faces light up. And we got out there, and I asked the grandsons. I said, "What are we going to do tonight?" And the oldest one, um, he was the very first one born in more ways than one. But he goes, "I don't know." And I said, "Well, what about opening Christmas presents?" And he was like, "We get Christmas presents?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we got some out in the car." And so we went out and got them and brought them in, everybody shared Christmas, and we just hung out and had a great time together. And it's always hard to leave them behind, though. That's the worst part.
Yeah, and as a grandchild, I can tell you it's always hard to say goodbye and watch you drive away.
Yes, absolutely. And they're sitting there the whole time saying, when are we going to get to come out, or can we come out with you, or, can we go back home with you? And I'm like, well, you got school Monday. How are you going to come back home with us? And he goes, I don't worry. I'm not worried about school.
Aww.
And so they love to come out and visit, and they've only been out here one time and stayed, but we have fun with them regardless. They're great kids, and my daughter's done a great job. All my kids have done great jobs with their kids, and
Aw.
that have them. We have one that's not married yet, doesn't have any children other than her dog. We have a granddogger. That's it. So,
You're
but
not are ya?
no, not at all.
I
Not at all.
weeks ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, this just warms my heart right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just found out my whole story in about an hour and a half the last time we talked, and so I thought, well, I'll let her share hers tonight. So give you your platform. So, like after you get into the music and you start playing and things like that, you went to Belmont,
I did.
which is a fantastic music college for folks that may not know. They have a lot of great programs for those wanting to get into the music industry, pretty much in any aspect, from business to vocal to playing to management to marketing. I mean, I don't even know all the programs they have, but it's a really good school.
Entertainment law.
Yes, entertainment law. Yeah, that's probably one I need to take.
Me too.
Yeah, we've got several friends that have gone there. My cousin has been an adjunct guitar professor there, so we know people like that, connections that way, and what they've majored in and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
awesome.
And so, what do you remember about your years at Belmont that just made it like unforgettable for you?
I think having professors that are in the industry right now, being able to share real life experiences with what we're learning, I felt
Mhm.
like that was invaluable. So I would say that was my favorite part about it. And then they were open to you going into their office and asking them questions. And so, yeah, I think that would have to be my answers. The professors and how open they were with sharing their stories and what's happening today and what they're seeing and everything. So
Mhm. Who was the most famous professor that you had? Anybody that everybody would or most people would know their name?
maybe Dwayne O'Brien. He was in Little Texas. If you know the song God
Mhm.
Bless Texas, he plays rhythm guitar for the band.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
I do know the name. Yep. Um, friend of mine's asking me where my MC glasses are. That's an inside joke I'll have to share with you sometime. But and that's it's like you said, that's one of the great things about Belmont, because the experiences that you get from the instructors are actually experiences that they've had themselves.
Yeah, it's so cool. I was really grateful for that time there, and I've thought about going back. I'm like, can I go back? I had less, or what am I trying to say? Not as many responsibilities. That was also a great part about it. I graduated, and I'm like, oh dang,
I got an adult and I don't want to do that.
I'm still really bad at it, George. Like, does it ever get easier?
No. The problem is the older you get, the more responsibilities you have, and that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So, you have family, you have a mortgage, vehicle payments, which some of these you may have now, and then you have bills and bills and bills, and you have to work. That's the worst part about adulting, is having to work to take care of everything. And as a kid, if you worked, you had money to do what you wanted. No, not when you're an adult. It's all gone.
Darn it all.
Right. Right. So you spend a lot of time. I mean, you spend a fair amount of time out on the road. If you go to Jess's website, which is Jess Kellie Adams, she's got a few dates up there right now for 2023, and she's starting to get into it. Um, when you're traveling, what usually are your three go-tos that you have to have when you travel?
Ooh, that's a really good question. A pillow, my AirPods, and pillow, AirPods, and probably a good snack. Because once we're on the road, we don't stop unless we need gas.
Right. That- yeah. Well, are you in a van, or are you in a bus, or what?
We have a Sprinter van. I'm so proud of her. Her name is Faith. My trailer's name is Tim.
Ah, nice play.
I think she's an engineer that works his butt off and is cheap. Okay, hello. Call me.
You had her at cheap, Radius. You had her at cheap. Trust me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Radius is a great guy. He's a good engineer too. Very, very good. He's worked with Little Texas. He's worked with a lot of bands. I can't even tell you who all he worked
Oh,
with. Yeah.
Brian, can't wait to have you in Missouri. Me too.
Yep. And you're actually going to be in Missouri before long. You're playing at a fair, or in a sounds like
It's not,
potentially playing at a fair.
it's not final yet. We're trying to figure out routing.
Right.
That's the
And
one
it's the
piece.
right. And it's the Nottoway County Fair.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Radius, I can't put that up there.
Uh-oh. Is he a troublemaker?
He's really not, but it's just we have to be careful, I'm not the kind of person that's really PC. But sometimes, you don't want to tick people off. So so he even said he would work that show for you.
Oh, very cool.
So when speaking of that and playing and things like that, when you're up on stage, what's your first thought? Like
My-
before you go out on stage, what's running through your mind before you step up on stage?
The people that go on the road with me, they know. So I'm very in the zone before I get on stage, because I know I have a purpose on that stage, and it's to connect with my audience and make each person in my crowd feel like I'm talking right to them. I always
Mhm.
say I want my audience to feel seen. I want them to feel understood, because a lot of times we walk around and, sorry, this cat, I think he's about to drink my water. But so a lot of times though, we don't feel heard or seen, and so I want people to come to my show, and for that hour and a half, I want them to get away from all their problems. And yeah, I would say just to connect. I'm just so focused on connecting. I don't know if there's like one specific thought. I think it's just all a part of my feeling, the emotion while I'm singing a song.
Right.
Just being in the moment. That's
Right.
yeah.
That's something
Did that
that
make sense at all?
exactly. Um, with what I mean, with traveling so much, like, where's the farthest that you've ever played from home, be it Nashville or Ohio?
um, I would say California, but I would say like the most legit show, farthest away from home is Texas. This year, the farthest west we went was Texas. That was about a 12-hour drive. And then we played in upstate New York and then Ohio down to Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, 43 shows last year. It was pretty cool. Some all-nighters, which were interesting. Our van broke down at 3 a.m. and it was a Sunday, of course, so we couldn't get anybody to answer their phone to help us. And that was big. We were opening for Lone Star, so we show up in a U-Haul, like making an entrance for sure, making ourselves.
Oh, wow. That'll get you noticed.
Yeah. I mean, hey, whatever it takes, I guess.
Right. Oh my gosh.
In reason.
Yes, absolutely. That is just too. I don't want to say it's funny, but it's comical. How's that?
Yes, it is now. It was not then.
I'm sure. Yeah. So, how many shows normally in a normal year, if you've been able to get into that, have you played? I mean, roughly how many shows do you play in a normal year that the country's not locked down?
Well, I would say before lockdown, we were at 16 shows. Last year, we're at 43, and my goal for 2023 is 100.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, well, I'm not there yet, but I'll let you know.
You got a goal, and that's always an important thing. You have a goal, you hit it,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I have a bunch of people that are looking out for me, and so hopefully, we can get to that 100. That's more than double, but hey, we more than doubled from 16, so
exactly.
It's not impossible.
Right.
Self-talking to myself.
So, if you're this one of those, I told you before, I'll chase rabbits during the show when you say something, and this just popped into my head because you said you got a lot of people looking out for you and stuff. Hey, do you have a fan club?
Ooh, so that is something we were wanting to do for 2023 is get a fan club.
What would you call them?
Club?
Yeah, like a legit fan club.
So I call my followers my JKA fam.
Okay, that's just pretty easy to remember.
Yeah, if you can think of anything more creative or off the wall, let me know. Like I am up for suggestions for sure.
Somebody on here just might come up with something. We don't know. So if anybody has an idea of what Jess could call her fan club, just include it in the comments.
Radius can. I know he can.
Yeah. He sent me his attire. I hope you're okay with this for him doing your shows. Are you ready for this?
Oh, let's bring it. With my Ray Charles glasses, sombrero, and Speedo.
And trust me, nobody wants to see Radius in a Speedo.
Try again.
Right. Absolutely. So now, if you could go out on tour, since we're talking about touring and stuff, if you could go out on tour with two artists, who would that be?
Reba, Dolly, Miranda. That's 3, Garth.
It's like girl power plus 1.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen Lone Star's show, but it's probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. So I think going on the road with Lone Star would be cool too.
Yeah, I have seen Lone Star. Trying to think of where I saw them at. I think it was at the casino.
In Missouri?
Yeah, I believe it was. I don't remember how long ago it's been, but I think they played a casino here in Missouri at one time. Like, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago. I'd have to go back and check. I really don't remember, but it's like I I hate to say this, I'm not bragging, but I've seen so many artists, it's hard to keep them all on,
Hey,
all on track, like Shenandoah, I've seen those guys.
though they're
3 or
good.
4. Oh, yeah, I love those
Oh,
guys. Confederate Railroad, talking about the older ones, Confederate Railroad, Shenandoah.
and Headhunters.
I have not seen the Kentucky Headhunters,
They're really good too.
which is surprising because one of their videos was shot in my great grandmother's hometown.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I never saw them live. But I've seen, Dwight Yoakam, and I've seen
Oh,
Dolly, I've seen
you
Reba.
Ollie and oh my gosh, stop it, George, stop.
I saw Winona, but I didn't see the Judds. I just got to see Winona.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
and it's just, I mean, a lot of those older acts, Restless Heart, Phil Vassar, Sawyer Brown, Joe Diffie.
Yeah, I know Diffie. That was
Yeah, I introduced him on stage not long before he passed away,
oh man.
and so that was really cool. Um,
I have a story about Joe. He was
okay.
he was my very first concert. I was 4 years old, and my grandma, she had her little Kodak camera. She took me to the front of the stage to get a picture, and he saw, and he before he started Texas Size Heartache, he came over to me and said, "Hon, what's your name?" My grandma goes, "Jess," and he hands me his pick, and he says, "This girl's gonna be the next Texas Sized Heartache." And then exactly 20 years later, I got to open for him, and I still have the
Oh,
pick.
wow.
That was like a full circle, just such an awesome moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, and did you reshare the story? Did he remember you, or
He didn't remember, but I did get to share the story, and he was so sweet.
yeah. Yeah, he was a great guy. Like I said, I got to introduce him on stage. I actually introduced him twice, and the last time was right before he passed away. Just crazy. Such a
Yeah.
great guy. And that's you have those like that just kind of you just hate when they're gone. Some great music, and he was trying so hard. He and his wife had just come off of a cruise the first time I introduced him.
Oh,
And we talked about that for a while. So, but yeah, Joe's a great guy, and I could go on and on about that stuff. But again, we're talking more about you. Should be talking more about you than me. Uh,
I'm enjoying your stories. So,
uh, and so with like if you're going out on tour with somebody, what would be, aside from the Grand Ole Opry, naturally, what would be one of the venues that would be like the place for you to play with, like Dolly or Miranda, Garth,
mm,
Reba?
specific venue. Well, I would have to say Red Rocks. I feel Red Rocks would be just the icing on the cake. Or
Hmm.
Madison Square Garden, that would be cool. Um, even Bridgestone Arena, because I go to so many shows there. I'm in the crowd so often. I feel like
Hmm.
being on that stage, looking out into the crowd that I'm normally in would be pretty special too.
Right.
I think right now, George, I'm just so focused on booking the shows. I honestly haven't even thought about the actual venues. That's something I need to put in my prayer list, is different venues I want to play in the future.
Right. Right. Radio says Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's where I was born.
Well, see, there you go.
And in Georgetown, not too far outside of Austin, they're having this huge festival. It's called Two Doors In, or Two Step In, or something.
Hmm.
Lisa, the CMA stage, absolutely, absolutely. I'll even take the riverfront stage, and then we can move up to the big stadium.
Right.
Even the Chevy
Exactly.
stage. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the Chevy stage. Any of those are awesome. Brian's suggestion, Freedom Jam, which we'll talk about that.
Well, duh.
Yeah, we're working on getting Jess to one of our Freedom Jams, and so pretty excited about that. Radius says great minds think alike.
I knew I liked you, Radius.
You may have a job yet, man. You've what happened there? Whoops, hang on.
Oh, we're getting a full tour now.
I don't know what happened. My camera just went haywire. It's like, what in the world? I've got to be tied up in the cable here. That's what it is. Hang on. One more time. I'm gonna have to move this mic away.
Your studio is gorgeous, by the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's not very on where it needs to be, but we'll adjust it that way for now. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm kind of proud of it. That little quick impromptu tour there. Now I feel like I'm sitting crooked because the camera's not straight. What in the world? All right. Nah, it's still kind of crooked. Oh well, we'll work our way through it tonight, and I'll correct it. Something came loose somewhere. I got to figure that out. That's everything as tight as it can be on there. So what were we talking about? We were talking about stages that you'd like to play on.
Yeah.
Red Rocks would be amazing. I love Red Rocks. I've never been there, but I've seen a lot of videos from concerts there. So Radius, it's not the camera. And the camera trying to run away from me is what it is. So when you get ready for a show, let's kind of move into a little bit of delving in. When you get ready for a show, what usually takes you the longest? Like doing hair, makeup, getting an outfit ready, pregame, anything like that?
Clothes. It's so hard because the van is so we play a lot of fairs and festivals, and a lot of times we don't get a green room. At least in 2022 we didn't. So we have our van. Our van is the green room. And but it's so tight, and with everybody, the whole band stuffed everywhere because nothing is ever compiled, and and I'm I can't blame the band for that. I'm probably the worst at it. Just like throwing my stuff everywhere. But it is super tight in the van. And so it takes me forever. And then I'm like, I wanted that tank top under that shirt. So then I have to start all over.
And does that ever get in the way? I mean, are you and your band pretty tight? Do you ever get to that point where it's like, oh my gosh, you're on my nerves, go away?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I have the AirPods in. We all bring our AirPods or headphones or whatever so we can get away for a little bit.
Right. Are you an only child?
I was raised as an only child, but I do have 3 older sisters and a little brother.
Wow.
And I love my siblings, but I am very happy that I was raised an only child.
So how many band members do you have, and what, I mean, are they all male, part male, part female, all female? I mean, I don't know. You can't even tell nowadays.
Yeah, they're all male, and there are 4 of them, but then I just got a guitar tech this year. So I guess there's 5 guys and me, which I don't mind. I feel like a few of them are, like my older brother,
Right.
and we look out for each other, and they're not only great musicians on stage, but they're even better guys off the stage. And I just couldn't ask for a better group of people to go on the road with, even though they're smelly boys. Love them.
Are any of them pranksters? Do they ever do that to you?
We did have one. he had to go his separate way, unfortunately, but he was always so funny because we have a phone in the van to call up to the front. So we have a partition. And if the partition's closed, you can lift up the phone. And so, yeah, if I was driving, he always loved to call up front and tell some kind of joke, something really silly.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
he was the prankster, and I absolutely adored him, and I was very sad when he had to go.
Wow. Those always those are always fun. I think radios would take up too much room in the van.
6, your new engineer. Hey, and we have been riding your cheap Radius, so
Exactly. Yeah, it's already a part of your contract, buddy. You are not getting out of that one. How cheap? Well, I'll show her after the show.
yeah, exactly.
Oh man. So what is the every artist has this. What's your most embarrassing stage moment?
Most embarrassing stage moment. Oh gosh. There's a point in the show where I sing Martina McBride's oh, what is it? Don't need no copy of Vogue magazine. Don't need a dress like no beauty queen.
My
I
baby loves me just as I am, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
for that song, I always say, are there any lovebirds out in the crowd? I want to dedicate this to you. Well, I said, are there any lovebirds out in the crowd? And this woman pointed to this couple that she came to the show with. And I go, you three? Oh, you three?
Uh, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, it's 20, 20 whatever. We're good, you do you. Uh,
Or another time I said, if you're enjoying the show, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you find your entertainment. I'm there. And I'm like, wait, let me clarify this real quick.
right.
My baby
Uh,
just her head. They're just like, oh, Jess.
do you have a lot of those moments where things just come out and you always wish you could just like eat them back real quick?
All the time. Do you? I really hope so.
Never. I mean, come on. I usually have a lot of salt and hot sauce sitting by because of that. I got to add a little flavor there.
um,
So what's the favorite song that you like to do on stage? Like what's your favorite cover song that you like to sing?
oh, my favorite cover song. Oh, I would have to say Jolene.
Okay.
We do Jolene a lot different than Dolly too. We have it really slowed down, a little more behind the beat, more of like an Eric Clapton vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably my favorite moment in the whole show.
All right. I can't wait to hear that one. That's going to be good.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
So if you could, I'm going to just get into this one because this is a good one for you. If you could describe your personality as one of the following three people.
Oh gosh, okay.
Jim Carrey,
Okay.
Mariah Carey, no relation, or Kanye West, aka Ye.
Oh my. I guess I would have to go with Jim Carrey. I mean, he's fun. I think I'm funny. I try. He just seems like such a lovable person. And that's what I want to be. Somebody told me once, there are two types of people out there. There are people who are more of a fountain, then there are people who are more of a drain. And so I always try to be a fountain. And I feel Jim Carrey would be a fountain.
I think he is. I love Jim Carrey, and I don't see you as being a diva, and I definitely don't see you as being off your rocker. So,
Phew.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh my gosh,
Starting
man!
this
Please.
time, y'all.
All right, it's time to have a little fun. So we're like we haven't already, but we're gonna have a little more. All right, so let's do this.
What the hell? What the hell? The hell? The hell? What the hell? What the hell?
So I just like to ask some crazy off the wall questions. All right, and that makes you say to yourself, "What the hell is he asking me here?" Um, so what are your two favorite two pizza toppings? Two favorite pizza toppings.
Is cheese a pizza topping or is that part of the pizza?
There's a question. Radius, answer that for us. Is cheese a topping? We'll see if Radius gets back to us. He's our Brian. Brian, you can answer that one.
Oh, okay. This would be a topping. Ricotta cheese.
Okay.
I love ricotta cheese. And not on the same pizza, but I love ricotta cheese and I love pineapple on a pizza.
Okay. Pineapple, little Canadian bacon or ham. My wife. I'm asking you what the hell. That's my wife, by the way. Apparently, she's not listened long enough to the show to realize I do that. All right. What would you say is your spirit animal?
Ooh, a penguin. I feel like penguins, they're so awkward on ground, but then they're just so elegant in the water. And I really hope that's me on stage. I hope I come off as like just really smooth on stage, you know, but then in person I'm just tripping over my own feet while standing still.
I was wondering where you're going to go with that because you said that they're so elegant on the ground, and I thought surely she's not going to say up in the air.
No, on the ground and then elegant in the water.
Gotcha. I was just like, wait.
Oh, you thought I was going to say something in the air? I mean,
I thought you could like they fly.
Oh, I just hit my nose on the table. That hurt.
My wife, am I supposed to listen to him? What, huh? What?
Lisa, it's the other way around.
Somebody be a little snarky tonight.
I think on the show.
I stopped and got her pizza on the way home. I mean, she ordered it. Let me clarify before I get into trouble. She ordered it. I just picked it up. I have to resort to this, okay? And I apologize, but the age-old question: toilet paper over or under?
Oh, goodness. Well, it's supposed to go over, right? But somehow I always have it under. I don't know how I do it. I'll even stare at the toilet paper and go, how do I get this over? And when I think I got it figured out, it's still under.
Oh my gosh.
I think God's pulling a prank on me. Let me. He's like, watch this, Grandpa.
Right, exactly. And Grandpa's up there dying. Oh my goodness, that is just crazy. All right. If somebody wrote a documentary about you and you got to pick who starred as you, who would it be?
Ooh, that's such a good question. You have good questions. I like this interview. Gosh, like I love Kate Hudson. Ooh, but Amy Schumer is really funny. If I'm thinking of the right. I'd have to go, Kate Hudson when she was in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I mean,
is there a correlation? Is that what you're telling us? There's a correlation?
Now that you pointed it out, I think subconsciously, yes.
Is that like the average relationship length, 10 days and it's done, right?
I mean,
Well, yeah.
can you see it? It's
Right.
big.
No ring on it. So do you
Or
do
it's
the
not.
whole do you do the whole T Swift thing when you break up, you write a song?
Well, there was I yeah, I do. Yeah. There
Uh,
an incident that happened just last week, and I'm like, "Ooh, that would be a really good song. I just need to find the song first." That's the key. It's finding the song in the experience. That's the hard part for me.
ah,
That's the fun part.
yeah, that is. That's always the fun part. It's it's like when she wrote Picture to Burn. I mean, come on, you know.
Oh yeah.
So if you walked up to a stranger on the street, what is the oddest thing that you would say to them?
Well, apparently I sing the word hi. So I'll just go to somebody and go, "Hi," and I realize I'm singing. It was my friend came up. She goes, "Jess, do you realize you sing the word hi?"
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. I'm not really sure.
Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. It's like so anytime somebody walks by Jess, they know now they're gonna be you're gonna be serenaded. There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm here
There you go.
for.
Yeah, that's she does it for a living. She does it all the time. So there we go. Um, what the- what's the perfect crowd size for you right now in your career? I mean, what do you feel like is a good crowd for you to be in front of?
Mm. Yeah, I don't know if it's about the size really for me. It's are people enjoying themselves? Um, do I see smiles out in the crowd? Are they participating? Are they engaged? Of course, I would love to have thousands of people in the crowd who are 100% attentive and singing along to every word. But I even really enjoy performing in front of people who are, maybe there's only 20 people out in the crowd, but if they're singing along and they're engaged and they're smiling, then I'm feeling pretty good.
That's a really good answer though. I like that. That's a good outlook. Um, gonna get serious for a minute with this one.
Okay.
Um, what's the biggest challenge that you have found trying to promote yourself and your music?
The biggest challenge I have had while trying to promote my music. um, maybe I'm not answering your question correctly with this, so let me know. But I feel like the biggest challenge I have with promoting my music is believing in myself to release something out into the world. Even if it is just a few listeners right now, it's
Mhm.
always really scary for me because it's my heart. It's my thoughts in a song, and it's easy to judge. you know, people people can judge you for it because it's you. The song is you. So um I would have to say believing that what I'm putting out there is good enough. Is that
Mhm.
answer?
Yeah, so that goes back to that self-doubt thing that,
Yeah.
you spoke of earlier. Is it good enough to release?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's it.
Lisa said being vulnerable is that's and that's such a hard thing for a lot of people to be vulnerable. I don't see that honestly. I don't see that being an issue for you.
Aw.
but I do, for some people, yeah. Um, Now, as you're trying to do that, and I mean, a part of that is growing your audience and trying to get people to know who you are. Um, and of course, nowadays we have social media of all kind, but I feel like sometimes social media is kind of a hindrance to artists because of all these joyful little things they call algorithms that it seems like nobody really understands, that just totally screws everything up. But at the same time, you have to do it.
I know it's so frustrating because sometimes I wonder if it's really about the talent or,
Mm.
how good the music is. It's more about, well, did it go viral? You know,
Right.
that's how good a song is measured anymore is what are your numbers on TikTok or on Instagram and
Right.
but yeah, and it is tough nowadays because artists have to be content creators, and that's not something I wanted to go into when I was listening to country music with my grandpa. I never thought, oh, and I'm gonna have to make TikToks and these video. I'm gonna have to be a videographer and know how to transition from one move to another. Oh, Lord. But
I know. And Nashville has taken that to heart, is the sad part.
yeah.
Music Row. I've never had any backlash from Nashville for saying this, and I don't know if people have heard it, that amount to a hill of beans down there, but I say it quite often. Nashville is just too, it's gotten to be too corporate when it
Mm.
comes to music. I mean, gone are the days where you walk up and down Music Row and you go into an office and you give them a tape, a CD, or, a flash drive or anything that had your music on it. Now
Mm.
the first question out of their mouth is exactly what you said. How many followers do you have? How many, likes? Has this gone on this particular song? Has this song gone viral?
But
You know,
yeah, it is just kind of how things are though right now. And one thing my mom is teaching me, especially nowadays, is any negative thought I have or any challenge I face, um, always find the opportunity. Always think, and I think Dolly even said this in an interview I heard from her. She always found the opportunity in every challenge. And so I think I just need to stay focused on, I think all artists, we just need to stay focused on how we benefit from social media and not even give to a second to the thought of, dang, I could be creating music, or because it just kind of is what it is right now.
right. Um, if you could collaborate with an artist, who would it be?
If I could collaborate with any artist, oh gosh, this is so fun. I'd have to say Miranda Lambert. I'd have to say Miranda. I love her. I love her so much.
All right. Perfect one as far as I'm concerned.
So, when she released her platinum record back in, I think it was 2015 or 2016,
Hmm.
it was the week of CMA Fest, if I'm remembering this correctly. And to promote the record, she opened her Pink Pistol stores, which was only in Oklahoma and Texas at the time. It was just a
Right.
pop-up store. And in Nashville off of Church Street, right in downtown. And I just wanted to go check it out. So I walk in and she's in there waiting for people to find out that she's there. And we got to talk for 15 minutes. At the end of the conversation, she looks at me and she says, "You're going to make it." Awesome. My hero just said I'm going to make it. Well, just hours later, I was volunteering down at the front of the stadium stage at the media line. And at the end of her show, she throws her pick out into the crowd, and it lands right on my arm as I go to sit down. So every time I start to doubt myself, I just think of that day and how she said, "You're going to make it." And then just hours later, her pick lands on my arm.
Wow.
Right? Like, I'm just, yeah.
Like,
And
go
that,
grandpa.
go grandpa.
He was reassuring you. And I really believe that. I think that's one of those things that you just have to look at like that, you know, that he was telling you, yeah, listen to her. She knows what she's talking about.
It was a really cool day.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Which of your songs do you want to be your legacy song?
Mm. I don't know if I have yet that
Mm,
song, but we're about to get in the studio the 1st of January. I
right.
am so pumped. I have a song called The Baggage, and the hook is, we all have problems, a few bad habits. I'm gonna love you, the good with the baggage. And it talks about just how somebody was always there for you through your heartache, and how you're going to be there for them too, unconditionally, and love them through it all. I have another song called Homemade, and that talks about, not having an easy childhood, which I didn't, but I'm so proud of the family I came from, and having the last name that I have, because I was homemade. And then the next one, it's called Hold On to Me, and I feel like it's not only a reminder to me, but I'm hoping another girl out there, or guy,
Mhm.
to to not let yourself fall for somebody before they've earned your love, before they've earned your trust. And so it's saying, like, hey, if you're thinking this, or if you're doing that, you can't hold on to me. And so I'm loving the songs that I'm writing currently, and I'm super pumped to get them out into the world.
I quite honestly, I am now. I mean, I not that I wasn't before, just listen to your stuff. I'm like, hey, hurry up and get these things recorded and put out. These are going to be so fun.
It's
You
so
know?
important to me to from here on out just release songs that are 100% my heart, my experiences, that are just really true to my story.
Right.
Um, I love songs about small town USA, but for me, that I can't relate to that, because that just wasn't, you know, it just wasn't a part of my raising. Um,
Mhm.
so I want to make sure that I talk about the hard times, but also bringing in light to it. Like, hey, there's also a positive to these hard experiences.
Right. Right. Um, let's see here. I had a question, one of these that I did actually write down that I was going to shoot out to you. Um, let's see here. Where did it go? I've only got like 30 of these. Um, if you could go back in time and change one thing about your music career up to now, what would that be?
I would have to say believing in myself, and believing that I deserve to be in certain rooms, and to talk to talk to people, and to believe in my music. I think for so long I stopped myself from walking through open doors, because I didn't believe I deserved to walk through them, and I totally did, and I do now. And thankfully, every day I am learning more and more my worth and what I have to offer. And December of 2019, I sat in a coffee shop with a friend, and I gave it all to Jesus. I surrendered. And then in Easter 2021, I got baptized, and it's changed my life completely. It's changed um, how I choose to love myself every single day. And
Right.
um, I'm still struggling constantly, of course, but at least now I know because I'm his, I can walk through those doors, even if I'm not fully confident in myself yet.
Right. Is are all of the ups and downs, the highs and the lows, are those are those worth it for
Yeah.
where you're at now?
Yeah, and I remember there was this one time specifically I was sitting in the car, I was bawling my eyes. Oh, good for you. You are worthy, and giving it to God is the hardest thing to do. It really is. I remember this one time specifically sitting in my car and just bawling my eyes out, and I'm just like, I quit. I mean, actually, there's been multiple times where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It's too hard. I'm done. What am I doing? Um, what was your question?
Uh, it's a simple one. Is it worth it?
And it's all worth it. Every tear, every heartbreak, all of it, all the sleepless nights. My anxiety has kept me up all through the night, multiple times, just thinking I don't have what it takes. And but it's worth it. You know, I opened for Lone Star twice, and he's Dean Sams, the piano player for Lone Star, founding member. He's now producing my next record.
Oh, awesome.
The songs I mentioned to you, we wrote those together with another fantastic, talented artist songwriter, Lauren Massetti. And he's also helping me build my 2023 show. So, you know, just being able to have now like these golden nuggets. I've worked hard for these golden nuggets, and um yes, it's all worth it. It's so worth it.
It's and it really, I mean, I could see from your standpoint and your point of view how things have been, there's been the ups and the downs and you have those moments where you just sit out in the car and you're wondering, what am I doing? Why am
Yeah.
I here?
Yeah.
You know? But in the end of it, in the end, it all comes out that yes, it's absolutely worth it without a doubt.
Yeah, and not just, of course in, the music, but in all industries, in all career paths, in all romantic relationships, in all aspects of life. I remember I looked to my mom. I was like, this wasn't too long ago. It was probably last year or so. I said to her, "How are you so strong?" And she said that when I was your age, you were just a little girl, and there were times at lunch I would go into my car and I would cry. I would just bawl my eyes out, and then I had to walk back into work and put on a brave face. But she was just telling me that it takes practice and just building that muscle, I guess. But
Right.
yeah,
So 2023
yes,
is starting off to look like it's going to be a pretty, if you follow suit, I know your shows are kind of spaced out a little bit, that you have on your calendar, but then you said that you got help of people trying to get you set up with other shows and all. And this year you're shooting for 100 shows.
yeah.
Now, are you figuring from like the 12-month period? Do you have a smaller time frame? That you
Uh,
wanna get those in?
so currently, my first show is March 10th, and I think that's a good time to start, so I have time to rebuild my 2023 show and get these
Mhm.
songs recorded, get in the studio, and get my band prepared with rehearsals and everything. So I would say March 10th through November. I think that's what I'm shooting for. I already have, not on the calendar yet, but I have two shows for November. Um, so at least I know now, March 10th and then November.
There you go. You got that much of it narrowed down anyway, right? It's a good start, you know? Because with what you got on here now, you got 2 shows, that's 5, that's 6 shows right there. You know,
There we go. Only
you're
what?
way there.
94 shows to go. I'm killing it.
You can do it. You can do it. So, if anybody wants to find out more about you, where's the best place for them to check out?
Instagram, Facebook. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, under Jess Kellie Adams, 3 names. And the first name is Jess. Kelly is Kellie. And then Adams, Adams, Jess Kellie Adams. So come on over. I would radius. Come on over.
She's ready to talk if you're ready to work. So
Hey, he works his butt off and he's cheap. Let's go.
exactly. And also, just a quick encouragement to everybody watching. Check Jess out on Spotify. The same thing, Jess Kellie Adams. Look her up. She's got some great songs out there, and she's, as you can tell, just a hoot to talk to. And one of my favorite interviews so far, probably in the last. Well, I started this 3 years ago. So, I mean, my jaws are hurting. I've laughed so hard tonight, and I love that.
I know. They need to create like a jaw massage.
I know, right? Well, my wife could probably tell you how to do that because that's her job. She's a licensed massage therapist, so she can explain to you she knows the technical terms. I don't. The old jaw muscles there, the cheeks and all that. Other than that, I don't know it.
Well,
So
thank you for having me on, and I have had such a good time. I've really enjoyed this.
Well, I have too. Thanks for coming on, and everybody, go check out Jess Kellie Adams. She is amazing. Keep your eye out on her calendar. See if she's coming to a town near you, and if not, it's not going to hurt to drive a couple hours to catch a show. You'll have fun. I mean, come on. So, all right, that's going to do it for us tonight. You guys have a great evening, and Jess, we'll talk to you here in just a sec. But otherwise, everybody take care. All right.
Bye, every guy. Oh, bye, every guys.
Oh, I don't think that's what she meant to say, but
Bye, everybody. There we go. That's it.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow Before Nashville on all social media and listen wherever you get your podcast. Tune in again for another country star of tomorrow on Before Nashville with George Davis. I'm Kevin Casey on behalf of Worldwide Pants. Have a great night.